Hello everyone! Thanks for tuning in this week for our member show Art for Art's Sake. This week's theme is community, so stick around to hear from some of our amazing artists. But first, as always, I would like to remind you that these come out every single Friday. Next week is our last one, so if you want to check out the two previous ones, please do. And stay tuned for next Fridays, which will close our member show. It's up until the 31st. Just go onto our website, which is slcartscouncil.org/2020 member show to view the amazing pieces that the artists put in, or you can just go right directly to our homepage. Make sure to put your People's Choice Award in, which is at the bottom of the exhibit page, and that's how you can get to that. There's also amazing artwork for sale, so there's so much for you to tune in for. Why wouldn't you? And while you're on our page, if you notice, there is a link above for our COVID relief fund. So if you're feeling ever so generous to provide a donation for that, we would be so very grateful. Without further ado, I will lead you directly into the amazing discussion from our member show artists.
My name is Shubha and I'm from India. Rangoli designs can either be drawn with a powder that we get in India made from a stone or with flowers. So it is a tradition which is followed all over South India in most houses, especially during festivals and, trust me when I say we have a lot of festivals. We have hundreds of festivals. In some very traditional families, it's almost, so regular that they have a festival every week. They draw these special designs every week or every day in front of their house. Art it's everywhere. And it is also, we can also see it in the way we depict our gods and how we kind of, decorate them and embellish them and their surroundings and backgrounds during festivals, and also how we decorate the house during festivals or special occasions such as weddings or other ceremonies. This is Rangoli. There's a woman drawing Rangoli, and this is she's using the traditional stone powder that we normally use, and she's drawing the outline now. This is how it is usually done in almost every household in South India. This is a small Rangoli. This is the finished product, and so there are hundreds of these designs, and women just come up with these designs. This is another Rangoli done during Deepavali or Diwali, which is a very big festival in India. During festivals, there are also numerous competitions that occur in many places where they, they compete with their Rangoli designs, and they even have prizes and awards for this, for the best design. And this is a very special form of Rangoli made with flower petals and leaves. It is usually done in a state called Kerala in India, especially during a festival they call Onam. And this is Ganesh Chaturthi, which is another very big festival and celebration in India. It happens over 3 to 5 days. And you can see how, how colorful the god is. Ganesha, he is the god of wisdom and knowledge. So it is, Ganesh Chaturthi is actually his birthday, and that's how we celebrate it.
Okay, I'm Sandra Nesselrode Hale, and I'm happy to be here in the North Country. We're in the woods. We're in the North Country woods. We're on the foothills. Well, we're in Colton, but we're on the foothills of the Adirondacks. We arrived in this community just about a year and a month ago. Planted our roots and started looking for places that would work out perfectly for us. What a beautiful place. This is gorgeous to live here. We have trees all around us. Maybe I can just shift this so you can see we're up in the trees here. We have a tree house. I want to first thank St. Lawrence County Arts, because it's meant everything. It's meant that I can meet with people, that I can, be part of a community and have fun with people who also do artwork, paint, sculpt, play music, and it's an exciting place to be. So this is a great community. One of the things that we do, unofficially called the Tawny Art Group, because we meet at Tawny, which is a wonderful shop. It's in the center of Canton, which probably a lot of people know about. And they had a great place for us upstairs. So we could just meet up there and do our whatever art that we were doing. We have people doing felting, and we have people doing, oils, sketching, figuring out ideas for mixed media. It's great. Just this summer, we started meeting because of, the limitations we had with this virus. We started meeting outside. And if anyone wants to join us, right now we're meeting at, it's called the Bend in the River Park in Canton, Wednesday at 10 a.m. I'm really excited about that. And we had people bring their work. I was trying to work on a scroll, a watercolor and acrylic, like a long piece that I couldn't work with in my studio. It's about 30 inches long. It calls for pouring the paint right on the painting. So you don't know exactly what you're going to get, but to do it outside was a lot of fun, and everybody was there doing their thing too. I love to draw, so anytime I can get a chance to draw something in nature, that both actually informs my abstract paintings as well as my landscapes. I came from Pennsylvania to the North Country. It was very different down there. The community was much bigger and more formal in terms of an art group. It was a little harder to get started there. I lived there for 15 years, and I think it was 3 years into living there, I finally felt like I had some, friends in the art field. The community of nature is important. Being part of the birds, the plants, the trees, the woodland animals. In this neighborhood where we are, lots of inspirations going through the community and taking a hike and saying hi to people, and then going back to my studio and feeling energized, especially during this kind of isolation period. We're really having to really rethink what we do in terms of socializing. So it's nice to go out and just walk around and you're outdoors and say hi to people, and then come back and be more energized and supported from the place where you are and the people you live around. To be here is a real joy, to see the seasons change. And my work changes over the seasons. I tend to work on fabric designs and fiber pieces in the winter. And then again, when we start coming into spring, when we're in that, frosty meltdown time, is a good time to just really start thinking about what I want to do in terms of large paintings, in terms of, big projects. In some respects, I'm sort of a citizen of the world, because we lived in England for quite a few years. My husband and I both taught in England, and I belonged to an art group there too, which was my one community that I really felt comfortable in, because it is a different culture. It's living in England was, I had to learn things that they did differently, but as far as the art community was concerned, they were just so open and so warm. It's been, a wonderful life, and this is a renewal of life for me. But I've started doing serious large pieces of hand making felt from fleece. I'm still learning that, And I've taken classes too. So that's part of the community, is to be forever a student and to enjoy learning from someone else. Taking classes in things maybe you thought you knew about and you thought you had it down pat, like watercolor or pastel, but there's always more to learn. That's what's so wonderful about art and about being part of an art community. My first actual event where some of my art was shown, an exhibit, was the Celebrating Women show, which was this winter. And it was a great experience. This was in January, so we actually met and had a live opening, and I actually had 2 pieces in the show, but I loved all the work. We had collages, we had fiber pieces, paintings. It just made my winter to see this and to celebrate women too. I thought it was a great idea. But we had men who were, participating. So they were celebrating the women in their lives. And we had beautiful portraits that men had done of their children or their grandchildren, or it was just a really wonderful show. So it's informed me. I'm a new person since I came to the North Woods. I hope to continue to learn. So North Country has everything, just a wonderful place to live and be.
I'm Gina Matthews. I am a photographer and a poet and a dancer. I'm also a computer science professor at Clarkson. But this summer especially, I have been an art instigator. I've been trying to instigate art around the North Country through our Async Arts project. The community has a huge impact on the work I've done this summer in particular, more so maybe than ever before. A lot of the art that I've been doing has been wrapped up in this Async Arts project, which is really all about finding ways for our community to connect with one another and connect with art in a safe way in this time of COVID. So things that can be experienced remotely, things that can be experienced in the same place as someone else, but maybe at different times. In many ways, I think the art has ended up to be about the process, not even just so much the finished product. And a lot of the process is about community building, maybe the art of community. We founded this Async Arts idea and have thought of many different realizations for it. But one of the first realizations was chalk art in Ives Park. And that really has developed into a really lovely community experience. The chalk art project in Ives Park started really just with Chris and I going to Ives Park, and she sketched this really gorgeous set of phoenix wings. He left a container there and some signs with instructions for people to add their own chalk art. And it was really cool to watch how what she had done evolved. We had left it as these wings, and people added an angel, and then they added a crown on the angel. And that was really neat to watch it evolve over time. And then all sorts of different little pieces of chalk art. And then it really intersected with the Black Lives Matter marches in Potsdam in a really beautiful way. We started to see the Black Lives Matter appear in the chalk art. And Liza LaBarge Page did this really gorgeous portrait of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Trayvon Martin. People were inspired to take pictures of themselves and their children next to it. It was just really, really gorgeous. Chalk art moved to Tawny in Canton. They did a wonderful summer traditions chalk art experience most of the month of July. Tawny set up an area for chalk art right out front, and they advertised it. Jim Murray did a lovely piece of his wife fishing, and it just, again, evolved in a really lovely way. Another wonderful connection is that Tawny had chosen Bird's Foot Farm to be a Heritage Award recipient, and we did a number of async art events out at Bird's Foot Farm. So it's just this really wonderful way of connecting many community organizations, SLC Arts, Tawny, Bird's Foot. Jenna, you have this fabulous new project, the Chapters of Chalk, right? With all the local libraries with different themes every week. So it's really cool how that little seed of an idea really grew and spread through our community. And that's just one example of the type of projects we've been doing. You know, we have others, you know, art appearing in the windows of storefronts in Potsdam, Arts Village, and lots of other things. Really, it has all been about community art, love art and community in the time of coronavirus. So Jenna asked me to show some of the pieces that I submitted to SLC Arts virtual member show, which has so many fabulous pieces in it. These are not really so much about our local community, but I love these images. This is a little slice of the photography work that I do. This image was taken at a park in the Bronx in New York City. I spent a year in New York City on sabbatical there. It's spring. Basically, the leaves are just coming out on the trees, so the trees are rising, the green is rising, you see the buildings rising, and I love that the dolphins attempting to rise but being kind of cemented in place. That juxtaposition felt very powerful to me. This is an image also in New York City, taken that same year. This is looking in the gate at Columbia University, so way uptown Manhattan. And this is a totally untouched photo and, you know, not digitally altered in any way. They had lit up the trees and a little bit of the gate. I called this image not so black and white because I think many of the things we learn in higher education are many shades of gray. And so even though we're looking at something that looks pretty black and white, it's not so black and white. This was taken in March 2019 in Colombia, up in the mountains near the town of Salento. This is the Valle de Corcora, and these are very special wax palms. They were very economically important at one time, but they're a very unique palm tree. And I just loved like the little ones dotting the hill and this really strong diagonal, and then this kind of one popping up. The biggest things that I hope people come away with is that we all are artists when we capture the beauty around us and share it with other people. And I've really been delighted to see, you know, people's gardens, beautifully presented meals, flower arrangements, just so many things. And it also really hammers home to me the connections that I have always seen between the local food and local art. Check out this gorgeous picture that Cindy Edwards took of the flowers and vegetables from her garden. She's actually been doing kind of a series of kind of veggie art posts, which I love. There's also one of her with a gorgeous big flower from her garden. Just lovely examples of what I was talking about. Here's Becky Harblin had done a beautiful flower arrangement. There's just so many ways for people to get involved in these asynchronous arts projects. I hope people will think about doing so. There's this Chapters of Chalk going on right now that Jenna's organizing. Just go to your local library and make some chalk art out front. Take a picture of it, post it with the hashtags async arts and Chapters of Chalk. We would so love that. So many other ways to get involved with this async arts project. Just focusing on asynchronous community art, love, art, and community in the time of coronavirus. I hope we will all take away some lessons about the ways we were able to connect and sustain one another and help one another at this time.